So this is a little bit different. This is a deck profile from a starter deck, modified starter deck anyway, that I switched the leader to Super Saiyan 3 that I'm running right now. And I wanted to post this just because I've been getting to the game and I've been using different decks and seeing which one worked for me, and I kind of wanted some feedback, and as well as see if anybody else is running it and see if anybody else is running something similar. But the first things first, I'm going to go through the leader, all the cards and why I picked them, and as well as the sort of strategy and, you know, turn by turn things that usually go on, and the reason why I picked them. Of course, I think I've just said that, but either way, instead of using the starter deck Goku, that does untap 2 active energy, this one only lets you play 6, and the reason for that is because you activate his effect. Basically, if you have no energy, which usually at the start of the turn you don't, you place 1 card into the drop area from your hand, and then 2 of your life go into your energy instead. So pretty cool. A lot of people who use Majin Buu use this kind of use this leader for that kind of strategy. And then when you awaken and you flip it over, you draw 2 instead of using the active, or 2 active like the newer cards. And then the leader still has a restriction for 6, but then at the end of the turn you get to have 3 active cards instead. So pretty cool. Now the whole goal of this is to have a sort of a later game, and in the beginning to mid, attack the enemy with as many kind of double strike units as possible. And I'm a little new, still a little bit new, but after using this deck against a lot of different decks, it can actually hold its own. I'm missing a few cards, but this is kind of the sort of ideal setup. And first is the Kaisen Goku from the starter deck. Again, this is started from the starter deck, so it would be best just to use it from there. And he does let you use or look at the top 7 from the top of your deck and then choose one Son Goku. And usually it will be one of these, either one of these or early in the game, probably one of those. And if you want, I mean, you can play him the first turn, since you do have 2 energy, and then play him again if you have another one in his hand, and then get one of your game enders, just so you can have it there. And so the enemy most likely, or the opponent most likely, knows what you're going to be doing. So a lot of different options, and those are mainly the cards. Kind of pretty much like 10 cards dedicated to it. Anyway, you might be wondering why I still have these 2, and these are mainly and purely for energy. There's probably a couple ways to do this, and to do it a little bit differently, but I'll kind of explain why I would pick this instead of like the Supreme card that you would use for, you know, you use it on the battlefield and use it as an energy. There's a couple things to that. So for Bulma, you play her early in the game, search for the Whis if you don't have anything else to use as energy, because if you only have some of these cards, you kind of need them 3rd or 4th turn to play them, and you don't want to waste it as energy. So it all kind of works out. And then of course you can just have some battlefield presence, or battle area presence, and then combo into your leader in case that does happen. Of course, Whis Coercion just negates attack, and then you switch one of your energy to active mode, and it's just a free energy counter. Very, very useful. Senzu Bean, this is something that I do need. I haven't been running, but when I did have it to borrow, it does help a lot because it is a very strong card. The leader card, or whatever card that you're going to be using, gains 5,000 power, and then as well as you untap 2 energy and switch them to active mode. So this is very helpful when you want to combo into one of these guys, or you use this guy and then want to combo into one of these guys, whatever it may be. So if you attack, it's a good, very good, useful card, I would say. I mean, come on, there you go. I'll explain Fu, by the way. I know I missed him, but he's one of the game enders, so I'll explain him in a second. So now the reason why I picked this guy for the super combo instead of like boost attack Piccolo or anybody else is simply because he sort of coordinates with Spirit Bomb Goku. So you do gain 10,000 4 or less, right? And by the time that you have 4 or less, you're most likely going to be playing this guy. And since you can't combo against this guy, you can't activate any counters, but you can combo against him. You would use him, draw, and then as well as choose one of your opponent's area combo cards and then return it to their hand. So they can't combo with that pretty much anymore. So if you time it right, you know, if they counter and they don't have any cards, or if you just want to combo, or if you just want to draw, and they don't have any combo area or whatever it may be, they don't counter, you just draw a card. But then if they don't and it's out of turn, whatever it may be, if they attack you, you can go ahead and just uncombo it. So I know that right there is a little bit out of turn, but to me, in the way that I've played him, it's very useful, and it's just good to have any kind of super combo. But yeah, that's all I would say to that. And Rapid Spirit Ball Goku, he's basically a 1-drop. I mean, if you just evolve on top of one of these guys, really anybody else, you untap one of the energy, so you really only use one. So very useful. Energy boost Beerus is just for double strike and KO power or battlefield power control, that sort of thing. Rebirth of Justice is so you can play one of your 5 drops. So this one does have a boost or an effect where you evolve and he gets the dual attack, but he does have double strike. And if you want dual attack, I would play him and then draw a card in case you need some hand control. I originally thought this was from the drop area, and I misread it, so watch out for that. But it is useful if you are going against a deck like this, like a Vegito deck or whatever it may be that relies on high cost cards, and it returns it to their hand. So very, very useful, especially against Majin Buu, now that I think about it. Because I mean, you go through a lot to get him, or even Cell. But you gotta use him wisely, and it does require 4 energy, so that's something to look out for. I already explained the Whis. Final Explosion Vegeta, he does have double strike, and it's very useful in my opinion, just to play him, attack, get a double strike threat, and then at the end of the turn you KO any cards up to 5 or less. So you do have to choose. So any barrier cards are unaffected, but I would definitely say that this is pretty useful just to clear out the area if you need to. And it does go back to your deck instead of your drop area as well. So if you do summon him as well, either with Rebirth of Justice or, you know, just regular energy, I mean, it's just very situational and just good to have. Same thing for Piccolo, and that is so it's a 4-drop critical barrier. This is a promo card, so it's a little bit harder to get, just like a couple other cards here. But you choose one of the battle cards equal or less to your energy, and then KO it. So the ruling for this, where it says duration of the game negate this skill, is a little bit wonky. So if it's you know, if it's on the battlefield, is it negated, or is it just in general? My guess is just in general. So if you do have 5 or 6 energy and you want to KO 6 energy, I would use it for that. Again, just so you can have some battlefield control, or you can just use them for energy in general. I mean, it's really up to you as far as that goes. But critical barrier, very, 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 very useful, even if you don't have that effect going on. So Super Saiyan 3 maximum energy, very important to understand the way that the effect is that is only for the duration in turn when you do evolve it and use the dual attack, but it's very, very good when you do ramp up for 4 energy on the 3rd or 4th turn, and then attack with double strike threat, and then dual attack, and then eventually have him or her use their combo cards to combo out, or their counters, because when you do get this guy dual attack, you get to draw, or any of these ender cards, or really any of the double strike cards. It's just good to keep that threat up. And basically, these are the ender cards. So this is the combo that you want to be in. So if you take damage with your leader and you start getting some good cards after drawing or later in the game, 5th or 6th turn, this is where you want to be. And what you want to play it is that you want to keep the Kansei Goku, and then maybe one of this Goku on the 2nd or 3rd turn. So you got 2 energy. The 3rd turn you got 3 energy. You play him, and then you keep him or play another Kansei Goku, because you're most likely you're gonna have one of them, or one of these cards on the next turn to again control the battlefield. And by that time you're probably gonna have one of these guys to play with Rebirth Addresses and play one of these guys. And the reason why you want to do that is because this guy prevents any counters, right? Prevents any counters. You only need 1 energy to play him with one of these 5 cost cards. So very, very important that you keep some of this later into the game right here, this 3 combo, or these 3 cards. And then it does have double strike, and when you do attack you can choose up to 5 of your battle cards in the energy area to combo with. So again, this is why you keep the Whis. So when you have up to 5, you have 50,000 up to 75,000 plus your hand. So maybe one of these, or one of these, or even one of these to combo with. And I've done that where I ended the game because the other person couldn't chalk up and beat my 75,000 attack. So playing him where you can't activate counters, and then playing this guy where you can't combo, is just a crazy threat. Absolutely crazy threat. I've done this a couple times just as a practice, and it's very, very useful because this guy has triple strike. He requires 2 energy, and the guy can't combo, or your opponent can't combo instead. Plus his auto, when you evolve into the card, return all the battle cards to their hand. So this doesn't choose any battle cards, so I believe, don't quote me on this, that barrier is not affected, or a barrier does not affect this. Don't at me. And either way, it's very, very, very useful. So when you do attack, when you do those type of things, it's incredibly useful. So if they have like a revenge what's it called, revenge blocker like Yajirobe, it'll just return attack. It's game over. That's 5 life right there. 5 life. Now a backup is gonna be Fu, and I put him in for fun because I pulled him in a pack, the SPR version actually. And when you have a later game like 5 or 6 and you start comboing, you start getting rid of these bomas, you start getting rid of all these other 4 drops, you're gonna have at least 10 cards in your overrealm. So if this somehow does not work, the next turn you have 6 energy to overrealm and then end it. And if you read the auto here, when you use overrealm, you can't, the opponent can't activate any skills other than a leader card until the beginning of your next turn. So one thing about this is that you could play him on 1 turn, attack for double strike, and then untap 3 for him, and then you know, you got some counters, you got the sense of being, and use that in the meantime to survive if you need to. And then right after that, since they can't activate any skill cards until the beginning of your turn, it's not, the only thing that's gonna be is battling. And right after that, you survive those things, you play these 2, and it's done. It's either one. It's just options. It's just to keep options. So there's a lot of different things. Like if you had a side deck, or if you wanted to switch over or switch out some cards. So like for instance, if we go over, website being a little weird right now, if you go over here, Rabbit Onslaught Goku is incredibly useful in this deck. I can't talk today. He only takes 3 on top of the Son Goku, which the Kansei Gokus are incredibly useful. He's a 5 drop. He does have double strike, and he does have critical. So I mean, come on, I mean, you have to choose one life, but if they have been stalling you, which is why I didn't put results of training, I mean that you can use that as in your side deck, but if they've been stalling you and you have a couple of these in your hand and you got a couple of the Kansei and Gokus on the battlefield early on, it's done. It's like you double strike critical, who Spirit Bomb who, you know, Ultra Instinct who, you just worry about this dude first and then you awaken and then you get to be unstalled. So very, very, very good card. Another card that I didn't put in is not only the, where are they? So objections, I did not put it in there, but you can run that. Boost attack Piccolo, I didn't put that in there, but you can run that. Mafuba, I didn't put that in there, but you can do that. So again, these are all very useful cards that you can kind of put in, as well as the barrier slash energy card that you can use on the battlefield. Now I have to get the ruling for that one, because if you do whoa, voice crack, if you do play her and you have more than 6 already, does it count to be in your energy? I think so. I think so, because it is energy. Like you can't get away from that. It's count as energy. But it is good if you want to have 3 or 4 energy by the second or third turn. So I mean that's a thing too. So I mean, you play 2 on the first turn, the next turn you place 1 more, you play her, now you got 4 energy for the next round, and now you can go ahead and start planning out your attack for the Gokus to end game. And that is it. I mean, when you really think about it, that is really it. I mean, when you start attacking with Vegeta or for Piccolo, and you control the field for whatever they're using to take away whatever cards they're on the battlefield, because that's #1 threat. You have a lot of options for this, and it's overall a very well oiled deck. I've seen some variations of Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but after playing it, it's just fun. Like you kind of just play, and then you keep going. And I think this leader really helps with that, because you have the options for the 2 energy and getting 3 on the second turn, and then untapping 3 after you awaken. I personally don't think you should use the results of training. Yeah, I don't think you really need that to awaken, even if you have 5 or more life. I mean, you could, but by the time you have 5, you're really more worried about getting the Ultra Instinct Goku, and as well as the Spirit Bomb Goku to end the game. And by that time, I mean, you can. I mean, you might be thinking like, why? And that's 5 right there. But what about the other 3? Just attack with your leader. I mean, it's easy as that. Use a Sensu Bean, attack with these guys. Again, double strike criticals, dual attack. A lot of threats there. So overall, I think this is a really fun deck as a mono blue deck. I went against a black deck, did pretty well, even won that one. Went against a Vegito deck, they misplayed, but hey, I made them think. That's the that's the thing about it. And just in general, this is just a fun deck to use. And if you have a few bucks, maybe not a few bucks, maybe like 10, 15 more dollars just to buy, you know, the Strategist, the Spirit Bomb Goku, Ultra Instinct Goku, all these other ones on top of these, I think you'd be set. Only issue is that if you do want to play the Rapid Onslaught and run maybe 3 of them instead of the 3 dual attacks, that's going to cost you about $75 right now. So I'm personally not going to be doing that. I will probably get it out of a promo pack or something else, because I think that is a promo tournament card. But yeah, either way, I love the game, and it's more than a collectible card game. It's actually pretty intricate. There's a few more sets coming out this year, and or at least a couple more that from what I read, and I hope it doesn't get saturated and like get too many cards, just like Yu-Gi-Oh, and become a little bit boring. I hope there's a lot of options and every deck can be competitive, or at least most of them. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Please comment, let me know what I missed, let me know what I should change, and that'd be it. Thanks for watching.